The Lego Simpsons are returning in June. That's right, Lego has just announced that the Krusty Burger is going to be released June 1st, coming in at $210 US. So a little bit lower prices in Europe, and you're going to get 1,635 pieces and 7 minifigs from the iconic TV show. Now, in this video, I'm going to break down 3 things that I observe about this set, and at the end, tell you, I think, some of the flaws that I see with it that may detract some people, especially casual Simpsons fans, from picking this up. So let's dive in. The first takeaway is that the interior of this set is elite. We purchased the 2014 Simpsons house over a decade ago, and I have to say, even though my kids have never seen an episode of The Simpsons, they absolutely loved playing with that set when they were young, and even to this day they wish it was still put together so they could play with it, because it's really just the perfect embodiment for playing house. And the interiors of that set, along with 2015's Quickie Mart, are incredibly well done. The Krusty Burger keeps that tradition going with a fully decked out interior, so let's talk about some of those details. There is a full kitchen, complete with a grill and a counter with the registers, a refrigerator, the soft drink dispenser, and all the little gadgets you would expect to see there. It's also interesting to see that you have a full menu above the counter, which you typically don't see too often in Lego sets, and if you do see any sort of menu, it's usually in a very limited form. I do want to emphasize there is a bathroom, and I noticed that there was an empty toilet paper roll, so somebody needs to go in and replace that. There are multiple tables in the dining section, so the use of space here is very well done. But really, that booth is impressive. I mean, look at the curve to the booth that you see oftentimes in fast food restaurants, and they use ingots as cushions, which I thought is a great way of using that piece. I love seeing the kids zone there. I think it's a great addition to this set and a nice shout out to the show. The floors are nearly entirely covered by tiles and plates, which is just like we saw with the Simpsons house. And again, this is a nice level of detail that you get throughout the interior, and I think in part because it is just one level. With all of the details in the interior, it's no surprise that I think a lot of fans are excited about this and all of the Easter eggs that are in there. Now, I'll let some of the hardcore Simpsons fans talk about those Easter eggs in other videos, but I want to emphasize that this interior is much better than what we see even in modular buildings that are food related. If you go back and look at the Parisian restaurant, even this year's Tudor Corner, they don't have as much detail as this, in part because the Krusty Burger is one level, but also because of the space that they're able to give it. And I think they've done a really nice job incorporating all of those details inside the set. Takeaway number 2 is the building techniques and nice parts usage. Whenever Lego announces an icons or ideas or a 16 plus set, maybe even a 14 plus set like the Ninjago City Workshop, some of those sets, I love just looking at the photos and identifying the really cool building techniques and the nice parts usage, which is, I guess, one reason why I make these videos. And this set, again, it does not disappoint in this area. It's fantastic. Let's check it out. If you love fast food French fries, then you're gonna love the use of the Wolverine claw as French fries here, pearl gold claws, and they're placed into a red bucket. It just looks great, and it's really, really cool. I also noticed that on this sandwich here, roller skates are used for what I believe is bacon, which is a very, very interesting approach to that. This also is a great parts pack in the sense that there are a lot of great pieces. You get a lot of tan bricks, medium nougat bricks along the bottom. You have a lot of different tiles in orange and dark orange. Also on the inside, some of that lavender and the purplish colors, and lots of useful snot bricks and brackets. The lavender windows are pretty rare. It's the 3rd time we're getting these, and just the 2nd time that we're getting the 1x6x6 frame that is used as the entrance door. Even the 2x2 macaroni tiles that are in cool yellow on the sign are pretty rare. It's just the 2nd time that we're getting those. I also noticed along this side of the building we have some dark green 2x4 rounded tiles, and that's the 1st time we're seeing that piece in this color. Of course, there are also some great building techniques between the previously mentioned booth that is just, again, incredibly well done. The drive-through menu, check out the snot work with the bordering around that and the Krusty logo. The snot work for the kids zone is very impressive, and even the seats, not the booth, but the seats in the dining room that are suspended using some modified plates that have an arm on them. And then I really love how they construct this corner of the building where the drive-through window is located, because there's so many snot techniques used. You got some brackets, tiles, and it just seamlessly plugs into the rest of the building, but it's very, very well done. Even the layout of the set is executed well. It's an interior that you can access by opening up the entire set with hinges, and you have a removable roof, which adds to the detail and is a nice touch. And I love the fact that you're able to get a fully enclosed building and a roof. Now, if you're a modular fan, that could mean that it's potentially modularizable, if that's even a word, but it is something that you'd want to take a look and see how it would fit in to your city, especially if you have maybe a section that's more residential or low-level commercial. By low, I mean low heights. But it's definitely a possibility because of the way the set is constructed and the building techniques and everything that goes into it. So again, I give a shout out to Lego for this. Takeaway number 3, though, is not quite as positive. This really has to do with the stickers and how many are used. Looking at all these images, it looks as though pretty much everything that's printed, a decal, a logo, everything like that is an actual sticker rather than printed on the piece itself. And that's rather disappointing for some fans. But what's problematic for me, and I don't mind stickers, is the sheer number of them. Check this out. The Krusty Burger drive-through menu, all those stickers, including across that macaroni tile, stickers. The menus themselves on the inside, stickers. The Krusty sign smile, the trash can, the signs on the windows and doors, the grill, the kids zone, all of these are stickers. And I think what's most disappointing for me is that some of these are placed over rounded pieces, which are very difficult to sticker. And if you're off just a little bit, can really be frustrating because you might have to peel it off, peel it on, and you just start degrading the sticker really early. Now, I will also say this reminds me of a large Friends set in terms of the number of stickers. If you have sets like the Downtown Flower and Design Shops, or some of those other expensive ones, they come with a lot of stickers. So I know that some people don't mind them, but this is not a Friends set. This is not a theme really designated toward kids and teenagers. This is a set that is clearly targeted toward adults, and especially millennials and Gen X. And I gotta be honest, this many stickers, it's pretty disappointing. And if you're not a sticker fan, I could see why you'd be very, very disappointed, maybe to the point of not getting the set. Now, when it comes to my final thoughts, I do want to talk a little bit about who I would expect to buy the set and who might be on the fence and why. So I definitely think that if you are a huge Simpsons fan and you're into Lego, you're probably getting the set. To me, the question is whether you get it day one or you wait and try to find double insiders points, some sort of a discount, and we'll talk more about the price in just a moment, or how do you navigate that? Now, there is a gift with purchase for those that are going to buy it on day one or in the first week, and it is the Simpsons living room. There is, I think, a really interesting dynamic to that, and it's missing minifigs. There are no minifigs. Now, if you look at the gifts with purchase for Jango Fett's Starship, you look at the Shire, you look at the River Steamboat, like some of these gifts with purchase are really good, and some of them have minifigs. This one does not. So I feel as though we're a little bit shortchanged in terms of getting those exclusive minifigs, or even just a minifig that could come out in a future set. Now, for those of you that don't like how Lego uses gifts with purchase, you're perfectly fine with this because you can maybe wait and get this set at a better price, because honestly, the living room itself doesn't stand out as all that special to me without the minifigs. So I think there's some pros and cons when it comes to that. So if you love it and maybe you have the Quickie Mart, you have the Simpsons house, maybe pick this up on day one. But I think for a lot of people, it's going to be waiting until there's a little bit of a better deal if that gift with purchase really doesn't get you all that excited for this. Now, another dimension to this, and this is kind of where I fit in on the set, is the price. It's $210 US for 1,635 pieces. And that's not a great price per piece ratio, and I understand that is a flawed metric, but it is one that I think is useful to look at for some things, and it's part of what I would consider a growing trend right now with Lego sets, and that is you're seeing prices increase. Now, I'm going to do a video on this in the next couple of weeks about the price increases that we're seeing. And by the way, it's not just for the United States. Europe is also getting hit with price increases, and it's maybe not even just this summer, it's including some sets from earlier in the year before, the tariffs were announced here in the United States, and then uncertainty that introduced, as well as higher prices. So this price is a bit extensive, and that's going to scare some people off. If you're a big Simpsons fan, you're going to be okay with it. But if you're not, if you're a casual Simpsons fan, or you like Simpsons, but maybe you're not as big into Lego, people may not get this set. And I'm curious to see how well this does in the initial weeks and months that it is available for sale. I can certainly understand that being a huge point that gets in the way for some people. So overall, I think there are some really nice aspects to this, and that's coming at this from somebody who's not going to analyze all the Easter eggs in this video. But there are some flaws that might detract some people from getting the set, especially the stickers and the price. If you're planning on getting the set, let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.